Ty the Dog Guy on the Daily, and I want to talk about how to choose a dog. And I want to talk about this with this amazing backdrop of a lake. So enjoy looking at the lake while I talk about how to find a dog. It's a question I get a lot. We do a lot of service dog training, and so a lot of folks think, well, I heard labs make good service dogs, I'm going to get a lab. Well, not every lab does. A lot of labs don't, make good service dogs. Or, people said, I've been doing my research, and based on my lifestyle, I think a German Shepherd's right for me, so I'm going to get a German Shepherd. And then they go out and get any German Shepherd. They place too much importance on the breed, because the breed book or the characteristics of the breed say that the breed is going to be like this. When in reality, those breed books have some general things correct, but a lot of things very, very wrong. And not only that, dogs are individuals, and so within 100 German Shepherds, you're going to find a huge variety of temperament, personality, character, courage, fear, anxiety, aggression. You're going to find a huge range depending on the lines it was bred from, the parents, just so much more. So that leads to the question of, what are you looking for in a new dog? Now, the older the dog is, in relation to a puppy, the more we can tell about a dog's character. And so, there's lots of things we can tell about puppies, but not a ton. And so you want to do your best, whether you're rescuing an older dog or buying a puppy or whatever. But there's a few characteristics that, whether it's a puppy or an older dog, that I want to look for. One of those things is sociability. And so how many times have you heard this story? I know I've heard a lot, but how many times have you heard people say, well, we were going along at the shelter, and that poor dog was huddled in the back corner and didn't want to come out for anybody, and we just felt so sad for him that we rescued him. Now, there's no problem in doing, like if you have a big heart and want to do that, don't let me discourage that, but let me also help you understand what you're getting into. When you have a dog that has no sociability, that doesn't want human contact, that's trying to get away from you, that's, it could be the circumstances of the shelter, but let's say you took the dog out, and you're getting to know the dog, and it's still not sociable, it still doesn't want much to do with people. Could it be that, it was abused? Sure. But it could also be that genetically the dog isn't very well put together, and so any new stimuli is very, very stressful. And so when we have a dog with a lack of sociability that, just is shying away from any human, connection, what we also tend to see are other problems. A dog who is not able to process stress very well, and that could, turn into big-time anxiety later. That could turn into, aggression problems later, things like that. And so, ideally, I'm looking for a dog that's sociable. That I walk in to a room, and the puppy or the adult dog's like, hey, cool, person. I don't care if they even come up and jump on me or, have bad manners and lick me and, all that stuff. Because that's stuff that can be fixed through training. I just want a dog that's, sociable. That's like, cool, new person, I'm all about that. Now, again, this is not an end-all be-all list, because there's dogs like my current dog, who I think has just a fantastic character and personality. I imported her from Portugal, and when I got her off the plane, she did not want to come out of her crate and say hi to me. I think she was a little bit stressed by the plane and stuff like that. And so in any case, you need to take in other factors other than, does the dog come right up to me? But in an ideal world, the dog comes up to me. I want to see how fast the dog recovers from stress. And so there's a couple like industry tests, that a lot of folks are going to do that, I would recommend you do too. One of those is an umbrella. It's called the umbrella test. And so you just simply open an umbrella kind of at the dog, not to hit the dog, of course, or even touch the dog, but in the dog's direction, we open an umbrella. Most dogs are going to startle away from that, which is fine. But what we want to see is how quickly the dog recovers to that. So the dog startles away from the umbrella. Is it like barking and running away and peeing itself? That's a dog that can't really recover from stress very well. Or does it like startle away, and then when it sees it just sitting there, kind of trots up and sniffs it and tries to get an idea of what it is? That's much better. And so somewhere on that spectrum is where you're going to see your dog. A dog that startles but immediately wants to investigate versus a dog that startles and just can't seem to recover for a while. And so obviously we want closer to that first one. We'll often do a similar one by dropping like a loud object like a pan. We have a pan just for this reason at our training center, where we drop it behind the dog, and the dog, turns and startles. And again, if they run away peeing and barking, that's not a terribly good sign. It's usually a pretty bad sign, usually. But if they startle and, want to go investigate, that's obviously a good sign. So we want sociability. We want a dog that recovers from stress. We want confidence. And so, I want to see a dog who carries himself or herself confidently, that, wants to go investigate, wants to go sniff this, wants to go experience that. I want to see that confidence. I want to see a dog that is interested in engaging with me, so I'm going to hold food and see, does the dog want to engage with me? I'm going to maybe throw a toy and see, does the dog like, oh, cool, we're playing now, and wants to go maybe grab the toy. Or, I want to see a dog when I sit down that wants to come over and maybe even get in my lap and be like, cool, here's a person. Let me go engage with this person and see what this person's all about. And in honesty, there's tons of other characteristics we're looking for. But if I was to break it down to just a handful and say, look especially for these when you're looking for your new dog, whether you're at a shelter or whether you're buying a puppy, get that dog that's sociable, get that dog that's confident, get that dog that's bold, get that dog that recovers from stress quickly, get that dog that wants to engage with you. Ideally is, driven by food or even toys, things like that. Does that mean that, you're condemning every other dog to die at the shelter? No. You've got to do right by you, and you've got to do right by your family. So look for the dog that's going to be a good match and is going to be a solid dog. Now, again, there's some folks that are just going to say, no, I need to help the dogs that need the help. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But if that's you, you need to make sure, again, that you know what you're getting into, and ideally that you are of a training mindset, that you know how to fix things with training, that you're willing to invest in trainers, that you're willing to invest time, money, energy, etc. That's the type of person that is going to do well with, one of these dogs that's fearful, that's already anxiety riddled, things like that. Not the person that's just kind of a casual dog owner that just says, oh, I was caught by the emotion and the dog just needed my help, so that's why I rescued this dog. Those situations tend to end poorly. So do your research, do a lot of testing. Don't get emotionally involved with the first dog that you see. Try to look at more than one, and you're going to be much better off for it.